Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the True Narrative Podcast. I am your host, Million Dollar Man Mark, and today I've got two very special guests for you. We're joined with Boston Soul,
How's it going, y'all?
and we're joined with famous Goonet, Hair and Meth, or Hair and Makeup by Meth, aka Meth. Welcome back to the show.
Hi, everyone. Good to be back.
So, in case you guys haven't heard, Boston and Mel are going to be doing a new show called Trademark Gorgeous George Show. I know George is just as excited about it as we are.
Yeah, wants to put it in my girlfriend. Happy
Yeah,
Valentine's Day, George.
yeah, I heard that last time that was a problem. he was like giving some intimate details about that.
Man, that was at the same time. I mean, it's textbook George. It's textbook George. It's I know some people out there maybe have seen Spinal Tap, that awesome documentary about that fake band. There's one review that they put out for a one of their albums, and the critique is they are treading water in a sea of retarded sexuality, and that just sums up George so well. So to hear him just do his, stupid doctor fuckhead semen and talk about the things he wanted to do to meth, I was angry and laughing my ass off at the same time. So, we can't be together for Valentine's Day, so I put that together to show her how much I love her.
It touched and it moved me. That's all I can say. I know George out is out here doing whatever, not getting any love at all that he has to even pay for. But
Yeah, I'm really excited about Friday, man.
yeah,
And
let's
I'm
let's talk about that real quick. So
Yeah.
you guys are starting a new show. This is kind of it's not a reboot of Fieldins. It's something completely different, right?
So yeah, so
Yes
a
and
few
no.
yeah, so see, here's what happened. We all know and love Eugene, and he did a lot of great things with Field's Party Palace on Friday nights, and he just got tired. You know, from a creative standpoint, I was on the call with him a few months ago, and he just said, "I just don't know where to go with this." He was getting kind of bored, not necessarily with George himself, but covering him. So, Mel was on the call as well, and he just says, "Hey, I want you to take over Fieldins." I'm like, all right. And I mean, I don't want to say I pushed back, but it was a little. I didn't want to just. I wanted to give it the attention it deserved, which is why it took so long for me to like really put the show together because I'm making like production intros, outros, and I want to make sure I know how to use the software because I want to put a good product for everyone to listen to and enjoy, and also to respect what Eugene asked me to do because every Friday night he was entertaining the hell out of us. Um, and then one day, I don't I can't even say that either she or I said I don't know who it was, if it was me or what, but just the because I was just going to call it Fielding's Party Palace or some kind of continuation. But I think it was you or Bob that said, you know what, you have to like brand it so George knows who he's fucking with. And then
Yeah.
that day was decided, fuck it, let's just call it the Gorgeous George Show. See what happens.
And I'm
And
gonna I'm gonna tell you right now what's gonna happen. Absolutely nothing is going to happen because of it.
he's just gonna continue. Well, I want to say that. I don't want to say that. Um, yeah, you're right. Absolutely nothing's gonna happen except a bunch of laughs because he's impotent. We know he knows about it because he's talking about trademarking his show. He's got the official channel, so I don't know. Mel, what do you think?
He's gonna say he's gonna do something about it, and spoiler alert, he's not gonna do anything about it. He's gonna threaten to, but as usual, he's all talk. So we
It's
know
in the
how that's
works.
gonna go.
It's in the works. This ends
It's in
tonight.
the works. Yeah.
Usual bullshit.
Yeah. Exactly.
If blowing hot air out of your ass was a sport, Gigi would be a multi gold medalist in it.
Oh
Fucking
yeah.
Michael Phelps.
So I want to get back into the show here in just a little bit, but I wanted to go over for everybody else that may not have been aware of it. We had GoonCon this past summertime. You guys were over there. For anybody that's not familiar with GoonCon or been following Tony's or Eugene's stream, what was GoonCon?
Mel was part of the impetus of this. George, that means the start of. So I'll let her start this.
It was an idea, where because we're all over the place. I don't know if I'm the only one out of country. I know there's goons scattered all over the place, but it was just a way for us to all get together, meet in person. I know I've made friends. I know that sounds goofy, even though, pre GoonCon I hadn't met anybody, but I considered these people friends, and it was just a way to for everybody to meet and hang out and torment George, and that's exactly what happened. It was a lot of fun. We all stayed in the same place, and yeah, we just had a blast.
Yeah, it was that, and I'll kind of piggyback off what she said. Um, I've been a part of the Discord now for I think maybe 2 years or so, give or take, and you spend a lot of time interacting with people. You start to get along with people, and nothing's perfect. Every one of us kind of snaps at each other a time or two, but we're all trolls, we're all assholes, and so that stuff kind of happens. But when it comes down to it, I think we all pretty much get along well, and so it was really weird when I'm standing in this big house with Deuce, with Lewis, and these are people I literally met an hour ago. But the familiarity is there. The voices are recognized, and the personalities are there. You felt, or I felt, I should say, very at ease with everybody, which I think speaks to the sincerity of the goons, as dumb as that sounds. But towards the ending of the planning phase, I was talking to Mel, and I said, "Look, we're going to be there a day early. We got to get to work." I did not want to waste any time trying to find George, and so that's what we did.
And he hid the entire time.
Like a bitch.
You
Like a
guys went.
bitch.
You guys went to his father's grave and did all kinds of unspeakable horrors, as George would like
Yeah.
to say, there. And he knew it was happening and did absolutely nothing about it.
No, nothing at all. I mean, you guys were there from the Discord standpoint when we we were 95% certain that was George at the first Costco parking lot, but I
Yeah.
couldn't be 100% sure, so I just did not want to do anything at that moment. Once you guys confirmed it for us, we floored it back and he was gone. But George, George, I know you're gonna listen to this. Um, I know I emailed you. I know Deuce emailed you. Made videos about where we were. We could have camped out at the graveyard. Nothing happened. Well, you know, something happened between me and Mel, but the original video was pretty bad. I sent it to Mark. I'm like, hey, upload this because he has more people than I do. He's like, yeah, no, I'm not putting that on my channel, dude. I mean, it's drunk. Um, but yeah, he hid the whole time. He threw his friends under a bus, which is what he
Oh, yeah.
does.
Yes.
That's what he does. I'll give Watt one piece of credit. The dude came down and spoke to us. And so you got to respect at least that. I don't respect pretty much anything else about him, but it turned into just the whole event just crescendoed into an amazing ending. I couldn't have written anything better than how it ended.
Are you talking about with Tony and Roger having their parlay?
Oh God, being in Roger's presence, it's like looking at an alien. You know, well, like I'm serious. Like he looks really weird in person. Like
Yeah, he
he's.
does.
I have no way to put like he's snarling and it's the stupid goons. Just it's
I
really
thought that
weird.
was him for a second.
It's
it's
you stupid goons.
Yeah, and so just seeing him like do his little autistic expressions and try and talk himself out of this. But when he saw my phone, just his eyes just bugged out of his head. And he lunged at me. I didn't. So I'm watching through the phone, and that gives you a sense of separation into reality. So I'm looking at this. I'm like, oh, look at this. Roger's jumping at me. And before I had a second to react, Eugene was already all over him. So, we even said, hey, no violence, no physical, but we wanted confrontation. That went out the window, and we were literally at the airport less than an hour later. We hauled ass out of there. Like that happened, and we were in the air within 2-3 hours.
Well, we also had planes to catch, so me and Matt, I barely made our flights. I think we had about 10 minutes to spare, but
Yeah.
the one of my favorite things about that last day is when we showed up at Watts place. First of all, we found the sacred place where the Booger Man was shot.
Yes.
And as we're walking into Watts' building, Watts coming out, and you can hear George raging on the phone. Are they there? Is that them? And I yelled, "Hey, Fatso, it's us."
And he probably hung up. I got somewhere going to be. I need to make a delivery.
Oh, he hung up, and that's when he called the I can't remember her name. She was really nice. She was like the manager for that
Yeah.
development
Total
or whatever.
sweetheart.
Yeah.
And she could not have been nicer to us.
Oh, she was really sweet.
She didn't kick us out, George. She just asked us not to sell anything or put up any posters and say,
Yeah.
I respect that. You can take down that poster over there. And she said, I appreciate y'all. And she went on her way. And then George wound up at Watt's house that night because they posted on Instagram that they were chilling at the crib.
Yeah, that's interesting that once the goons leave Watt's place, George is all about going there.
That's what he does. Even, I have a lot of back and forth with George in email. And he kept talking about, yeah, you ran before I could get there. And I just said, George, you were just full of colossal shit, man. It's getting to a point where it's not even funny. Roger had Tony on the ground. Are we watching the same video? You know, he just has so many excuses. He's been asking for years, and you know this a lot more than I do. At least I should say you've been more involved with it than I have. I've been there from the Something Awful days, but I was just an observer this whole time until he doxed me. So, but he's full of shit. The goons went to Richmond and spent almost 2 weeks calling him out on it, and he ran because he's a bitch.
And we knew he would. And when you guys go back this upcoming year, he's going to hide again.
That's right. This is an annual occurrence, George. I mean, the first one was so successful. We're expecting twice the turnout. Of course, we're not going to tell you when, but it's going to happen. We're looking forward to it, and we're going to do things a little different this year as far as how we go about pursuing the Fat Man. But I think I told you guys that I absolutely want to be face to face with George this year, and I'm going to make sure it happens.
I mean, yeah, I think for sure that George is going to need to step up because if he hides again this year, he has no room to stand on right now, but like even more so. I don't even know what his excuses were, this year for why. Well, I'm sure he's got some. Oh, I had to go do this or that or whatever. But he's full of shit, and we all know he is, and he's a big pussy to boot.
A massive pussy.
Because that was the thing that we were always talking about is George has been saying for how many years now that he wants nothing more than to kick all the trolls' ass and beat them up and do whatever. And here you guys are. You basically presented yourself on a platter to George, and what did he do? He went and hid.
He didn't even respond to emails.
No.
I think he sent one. I think he either sent me one message or he uploaded one video. I think, or he just said, "Fuck off and leave me alone," which is the opposite of "Hey, let's fight." I'll be honest. So, our first day there, we had that rendezvous at the cemetery, and he still didn't know we were there yet, but so that video got released, and then I woke up the next morning, like at 8 o'clock in the morning, to everyone just blasting that video of him telling David Abrams, now it's fucking personal, and I'm like, all right, let's do this. And at that moment, he fled.
That's what Yareds do. They run away. Except if you're the case of George Yared Senior, his wives all tend to run away.
I'm still convinced there's a little bit of incest somewhere in that line, and I don't mean that to be an asshole. I mean that sincerely. He's got that very, very slight cross-eyed look. He's dumb as fuck. There's got to be some kind of genetic mutation that maybe doesn't. Well, you know what? He's got purple legs and a gut dong and a cum stripe. He's one walking genetic mutation.
I mean, this is what he's talking about. He does have a genetic defect. His mom was schizophrenic, and that's passed down.
God damn it!
Oh, that's a classic.
That is.
So for GoonCon this upcoming year, any things you guys can drop? It's kind of early days, so if you don't have any plans yet, I get that. But what do you guys want to do? Besides get George. I'm excited. I will say for Deus to get his hands on George, because when Deus gets his fucking hands on George, it is over.
Yeah.
100% over. George just trembles when he hears his name.
I felt bad that he missed all that action. I can fight if I have to, but that's not like my nature. I really like to talk my way out of things. He doesn't. He likes to talk his way into things. And when he found out after the fact, I could hear his heart breaking from the road. So definitely a priority is to get Deuce to have his way with George for at least 5 minutes. He's already packed his GG robe, his GG wig, and I think it's going to be we're going to have fireworks.
George would expire after 30 seconds in a ring.
Oh, yeah.
Days. He'd be lucky if he made it 30 seconds.
Deuce would get him on the ground, and George would end up on his back like a turtle, not being able to flip himself over. He's laying there flailing, trying to get up.
This is the same asshole that complained on the Phyllis call that he had to climb some stairs or he's out of breath or something of that nature.
Stairs.
And this guy thinks he can go toe-to-toe with anybody?
Yeah. I mean, we've seen how George fights, so... Quainer Norzad helped ensure that a very skilled and disciplined martial artist made it through his school. Only the best come from Dong's dojo, Quater's dojo, wherever the fuck.
God, and I can't believe I thought when you released the commentary, you said and the website is dongs.com. No wonder. I wonder how Gigi found it. I thought you were just kind of being an asshole, and I laughed really hard. But then I actually looked it up, and it really is dongs.com.
Yeah, that's the website name, dongs.com, yeah.
You see, George doesn't know. George is a colossal failure, but he makes things worse for himself. I mean, I was just a lurker. I was happy just to make stupid little videos and sing my dumb fucking little song, but he had to take it to where it is now, and I stole his show.
Yeah,
sounds like a measured response if you ask me.
I'd say so. And George is going to have to admit that since we have ran him off YouTube from making Gorgeous George shows anymore, that you now own the show. It is yours, and no phony fucking trademark from some, trademark engine bullshit scam site is going to change that.
Oh, absolutely not. Even if, they know George had it for the last 30 years. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, we're celebrating 3 decades of broadcast dominance starting this Friday.
Yep. Here's to 3 more decades of broadcast dominance, my friend.
Oh, yeah. Here.
George has no idea. He thought... it was so funny thinking back to when Fieldings was on and George was just sitting there, just listening and raging to Phyllis on the phone while trying to listen to Eugene and Meth talk shit about him. He would just get so mad. George, don't watch it. I have to watch it.
And what does he
That
say about us? If you don't like his show, don't watch it.
Yeah, if you don't like me, don't watch me.
Yeah, and we tell him to do the same thing, but I don't know, he says we're obsessed with him. I think it's the other way around.
yeah.
If he hates us so much but can't not watch the show, yeah, I think he's the one that's obsessed.
And it's just going to get worse for him because, I mean, George, I've got some surprise guests throughout the first season that you're absolutely going to rage over, and that delights me. We're going to go over material that has never been heard before, and we're just going to kick you in the gunt dong every other Friday night. So for everyone out there, this is only going to be twice a month. I have obligations as a father. Um, that I want to be with my son. But every other Friday night we'll be doing this, starting this Friday at 7:30, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. Are we doing 8:30 or 8?
I thought we were doing it 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. We're keeping the
Okay.
same time it used to be.
Okay, yeah, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central.
Now, are you
And
guys
then
going to be doing like all kinds of different stuff on the show, like skits, variety? I saw someone on one of my posts made a comment saying that it'd be cool if you guys could take calls from listeners.
Well, so I don't know how I can take calls from listeners. I would have to set up like a Skype line and then pipe that through. So I guess I could. Um, I think until that happens, I'll just have people just hop on and say something. Honestly, I think it'd be hysterical if I put a number out there and I just got mercifully, prank called for 2 hours. I would love that. But as far as skits, we're not really going to do skits per se, but we are going to have sponsors for the show.
yes,
Like, Tard Radio is going to sponsor it. Platinum Plus is going to sponsor it. So
LifeLock,
LifeLock, Olive Garden, a lot of places
Starbucks.
are. Yes. So I'll be making some commercials featuring these fine establishments in Richmond, but featuring horribly offensive slogans. So it'll have some multimedia dimensions to it. For anyone out there who doesn't know, I actually do have radio and broadcast, like real radio broadcast experience, not like Dale Carnegie and broadcasting to
I was
TK Cook.
I was gonna say,
Saturday night.
dude, if you didn't do at least a semester at Dale Carnegie School of Public Speaking, then I don't even want to listen to your shit.
It's gonna be fucking lame. But yeah, so that's why I wanted to take some pride into the project. I've made an actual video opener. I've made an outro. I want this to just kind of stand on its own. But that being said, Friday night's just for George. There's gonna be some element of the A team to it, but I want people to understand this is George is our focus. I love what Eugene has done. He's expanded his reach, and he's having a blast doing what he's doing now. And he's like, yeah, George is in capable hands. So that just lets us focus on what's needed, and that's just kicking George's ass.
George needs a good ass kicking. He needs one every single day, and he gets one every single day from us.
He gets one from life.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
every
wakes
single
up every morning at a disadvantage in Dick's parking lot.
yeah, or Publix. One time we had a tracker on his car, and I texted him when he was in the Publix parking lot and was like, "Hey, bitch, go give me a fucking sub from inside." I was not happy.
They're tracking my phone.
But George, you on Bethlehem Road?
George, I don't want you living in a van.
For what we're planning on doing on the weeks that we're not going to be on Friday night.
Mhm.
For the Thursday night, I think what we're going to do, we're going to have a stream, but it won't be like it won't be us on. We're going to play, like a funny Saunders call or something, and just have people come in to chat, just so there's
Yeah,
something going on that on the weeks that we're not on the air.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Thursday is gonna be more like whoever wants to come in and hang out, I'll pull up an old Saunders call or an old True Narrative podcast if I have your permission, and just
Yes.
let whoever wants to come on there. For the most part, there's some people out there I won't let on. But yeah, just let people come on and hang out. We'll probably delve more into the A team on Thursday nights, like Watt, and I don't know why Watt. I don't know why Watt wanted to follow the Goonan Instagram account this morning, but I had a lot of fun with that. But yeah, Thursday nights are just for bullshitting. Get more into Roger and Watt and Kevin. But I'll do that every other week that we're not on the air. So there's always gonna be something out there to kind of tie everyone's week together.
So if you're doing a show on a Friday and then the next Thursday there'll be something and then Friday after that. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's either Friday or Thursday.
Right.
Okay.
Just Thursday's gonna be more free form, so we'll pretty much, for the most part, anything goes.
Yeah, you guys can play anything you want from my channel. I would recommend, I'm looking at it right now on my channel, the Jay Smith and Gorgeous George call compilation would be.
Oh God, yes.
That's a good
That's
one.
a class. Maybe we'll start off with that one, man. I appreciate the heads up there on that.
There's the lesser played one of Jay Smith and Marty talking to George in the same video, which is also very funny.
Okay. Yeah, we'll hit that. I know a lot of people love the Jay Smith calls. I'm one of them. And there just can't be enough of them out there. So I think next Thursday, that's a great one to start with.
I'm really looking forward to it. It's been a little bit since we had a, weekly, bi-weekly covering of George live stream type of deal. And I'm glad you guys are filling that void.
Yeah, me too. I really miss it.
Yeah, I was telling Meth the other night, it doesn't feel the same without having that Friday show. So I appreciate the support that we've gotten from everybody. Goons, non-goons out there who are excited about it. You guys have been very supportive about it. So I think we're all stronger together. And so I think this is something that I wanted to be community focused. If somebody wants to join us on a Friday night and they have a specific message for George, or they have a specific piece of audio or video they want to go over, I want to talk to them. I want to see if we can do it. But we have a great community, and I don't remember who was talking about this, but trolling George is different than trolling almost anybody else because he's not taking calls. He's not broadcasting live every night. You get the satisfaction of making your friends laugh for 2 or 3 months until he blows his top and issues a rager, and it makes it all worth it. So having that weekly presence on YouTube again, I think is really going to galvanize the community one more time.
Yeah, and that's a good point about George. Is I've been getting in the Cobes more recently, and with him and guys like Low Tier God or Wings or what have you. Those guys are easy to pick apart because they give you content, pretty much every day or whatever. With George, it's a little bit harder because he only makes videos every couple months or maybe every couple of days, depending on how butthurt he is. But yeah, with George, it's a long game. It simmers for a while, then explodes. He's kind of like a volcano.
It is, and the best part about that is if you're careful, you can pick up little things in his videos that will irritate him. I mean, just the gun dong itself is he stands up and walks off camera, and within minutes we were just all over it. And the photoshops, the gun dong as the Death Star.
That was so. I was about to bring that up. That was one of the weirdest things I think I've ever seen George do is taking a picture of his umbilical hernia and sending it to a woman who is recording conversations with him, yet pretending to like him. And George is like romantically interested in this person who's like 30 years younger than him. And he's sending her this picture of his gun dong. Like, I don't get it.
The same girl that he bragged to about shitting his pants.
Yeah.
God damn it. I mean, no wonder this guy can't get laid.
He can, but it costs him money.
Yeah.
$200 for a handy.
That's a good deal. If you ever look at Sherry, he's quite a looker, let me tell you.
Yeah, tattooed tits are hot.
It's good enough. It's good enough for George. Hey, George described Sue, back in the day as a beautiful woman. So there you go.
Sue always looked like some like waitress on some like early '80s diner in Tennessee. Just that feathered, redneck hair.
Yeah, I was gonna
Just
say straight out of the '80s for sure.
yeah,
Maybe that's
just
why he liked her so much.
that tracks. George's cultural growth stunted around 1989.
I
I'm
was,
sorry,
yeah,
her hair looks like Ric Flair's when you think about it. She looks
it
like Ric
does.
Flair.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm a big fan of her C-section scar, but you know what? He's
Yeah,
disgusting.
the heavy eye makeup and the hairstyle. Yeah, she looked like she walked straight out of 1986. But that's George. I really think that was his, like, maybe the most, like, the happiest time of his life, before all the bullshit started, and he was, didn't have he was just living life as, kind of a loser instead of like a full-on loser. And I think he's just stuck in that time where that's where he wants to be but can never go back to. So everything in his life revolves around that time period. Like the women he's attracted to, the music he listens to, the clothes he wears, it's all kind of centered around that time. So, I don't know, to me that's what makes sense.
Maybe
It's
before
crazy.
he lost his money in the house.
Yeah,
It
pre-bankruptcy, pre-foreclosure, pre-homeless, pre-gunt dong, pre-trolls.
it's crazy to me in one of the Saunders calls when Saunders says that he has a Pokemon that George didn't know what a Pokemon was.
God, he
How do you
hated it.
not
Like, how do
know?
you not know what a Pokemon was? They're literally like everywhere in the late '90s. You couldn't walk into a store and not see Pokemon.
Yeah, you don't have to be a fan of it to know it exists.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I know it exists because I have a son. George doesn't.
He has nothing. He has no one.
This is what kills me about him. This shit's out there. We all know he's fat. We all know he's functionally unemployed. We know he's homeless. We know he's got purple legs. He's overweight. He has a 2-inch dick. Yet in his convoluted, gorgeous George head, he'll still email me and say, "Address me as your superior."
King George.
George, I work for a company that was involved in taking your house. It doesn't get much more superior than that. King
the
George.
world of denial that George lives in is one of just fantastic happenings. I'm sure.
I mean, there has to be a certain level of freedom living with that much delusion. Like, it just can't get much worse. I mean, he doesn't pay any bills, doesn't have a mortgage payment. He's about to lose his storage shed.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
storage
great when
unit.
that comes up.
The storage unit guy's been pretty funny in Discord too. He's been coming in there keeping us updated on George. His storage unit is it's funny how George always makes sure he has to pay the minimum to keep it from going into default, but never any more than that.
No, and he spent probably 2 months of rent trying to buy his shitty trademark.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
That,
George,
that was a
and then when he doesn't get finalized and he never gets it, he's gonna feel super good about it.
and every time he reapplies for it, we're gonna have his phone number forever. So it's one thing or the other, George. You either let it go or you keep trying to apply for it and you change your number and we'll just get it again.
I'm for him wasting more money and giving us his phone number repeatedly. That sounds like a good deal to me.
Yeah, I like that idea too.
Absolutely. I'll give him the money to do it just to have his phone number.
Have you known anybody in your entire life who's had to change their phone number 16 times during their life?
No.
No. I maybe have changed my number 2 or 3 times since college. And that's because I moved places. But then again, I don't have any friends that other strangers on the internet make videos about. I don't know what it's like to live in that kind of social strata.
I'm not a public figure, so I wouldn't know.
I'm not a public figure. Here's my biography.
Yeah, here's my what did he call it? Autobibliography.
Bibliography
Yeah, autobibliography.
and the website. Where's your website, George?
Yeah,
Where's
he keeps saying he's gonna have someone make that for him. I haven't seen it though.
Chris the hacker's good at that shit.
Yeah, maybe if he
He
paid
blew his
Chris.
startup money on that hand job, so he's got to squirrel those tips away again.
George will never learn, and that's what's the good part about him. Until the day he fucking dies, he'll keep doing the same thing over and over again.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't remember who he was sitting with on one of his old shows. Someone called in and just said, "Hey, you're fat," and he starts ripping into him. And the woman next to him said, "Just stop responding to them, George. Just stop." She was being sincere. He said, "No, no, no. They have to learn a lesson. He can't. His pride doesn't let him walk away. He can't walk away. He needs us in his life. He really does."
He loves the drama, and I've said it a million times. You are exactly correct. He needs us in his life. He needs someone to blame for his failures, and we provide that for him.
We do. No one else wishes him happy birthday or Merry Christmas. We're his family.
Yeah. Who else remembers his birthday except us?
Apparently, nobody. So, there's that. Maybe 3 people. You're going to kick me out. I don't care if not a lot of people showed up. I paid the money for the place.
And he tried to pull a roost on us this year, saying that his birthday celebration went off as a big success, and then like a week later, Watts all he had to cancel his birthday celebration because you assholes.
Oh, good old Waterhead.
Yeah.
His friends just throw him under the bus. They all throw each other. They all suck. They really do.
Yeah, Team GG is full of a bunch of fucking losers, man. Like, that's for sure.
Anyone in that man's orbit just is a colossal failure. Everything he touches turns to shit.
Your IQ cannot be above a certain level in order to be on Team GG. That's one of the requirements.
No children, no retirement plans, nothing.
But he is leaving his stuff to Kristen when he dies, so she's got that to look forward to.
What
Jesus
stuff?
Christ.
Like,
I don't know, that he said he was making a will and that he told Saunders that Kristen was his heir.
Is that
oh,
Will
is
being on
he?
slant?
I was gonna say there's that life insurance policy, but somehow he thinks he's gonna live off that when he's alive.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. But he is
I
also
can't wrap my head around that one, but
he also said that he made like a will and he had Kristen as his heir.
Well, when he dies, who's gonna pay to bury him?
He'll be put in a pauper's grave.
I
That's
mean,
funny.
we're gonna show up for the funeral. No one else is.
yeah.
I'll go out for that.
I have said that when the storage unit guy is going to let us know when George defaults on that auction or on the unit, when that happens, I personally am going to drive down from New York and I'm going to rent a U-Haul truck and I'm going to buy most of George's stuff, put it in the back of the truck and take it back to my apartment in New York. And George is going to be able to do anything about it.
I'll go with you, man. I'm on just the other side of the island.
Yeah, we can do whatever we want with it. And you know what? I was also thinking about getting a permit to just light it all on fire in a field somewhere. Do that too. At least his furniture and stuff, like that pissed on dog rug that Saunders was talking about. The grandfather clock that his dad made with his bare hands, whatever. Yeah, I'll piss on that, then just light it on fire.
Oh, I had an idea for that baby crib, so
Oh, what?
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's hear about it.
well, Boston and I are gonna have sex in it, and then we're gonna use it as firewood and roast marshmallows in the nude and give each
I
other
like
high fives.
I like that idea a lot. I think George would be really happy if his childhood crib was used in that fashion.
Yeah, we'll try and conceive a future goon in his old baby crib.
That would
How
be
ironic
awesome.
would that be? And then we're gonna set it on fire.
Either that, or the cemetery.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah,
Either
that
one
works.
works.
I'm stepping it up this year. We're all stepping up this year because we know he's a pussy. The only thing that happened for anyone who wasn't there is for I'd say the hour that we were just hanging out there. There was a guy in the groundskeeper was just driving around watching us the entire time we were there. Nothing happened though. Nothing happened. So
Oh,
next
you
Yeah.
time
mean
we're
when
gonna go
the
to our own
whole group
park.
of us was there?
Yeah, when all of us, because I mean, no one knew you and I were there. I mean, the only people that knew we were there were the IC and the people
Yeah.
doing GoonCon. Um, but yeah, once everyone showed up, the groundskeeper watched us for like an hour and a half, and nothing happened. Richmond's not that big. If if he had the police or whoever on his payroll to watch the place for him, if they really cared, so if the guy did call George, okay, then George was a puss and didn't show up, or the guy just didn't give a shit about George and was watching to see what we did to laugh at him. Either way, he's a loser.
It's interesting you say that the police would be in George's pocket when I'm pretty sure that Henry has the police in his pocket.
Yeah, that's why nothing happened to us.
That's exactly why nothing happened, because Henry would make sure that it wasn't going to happen. Yeah, but we bought off a federal judge too, so if they would have gotten the court, we just bought off the judge and got you guys all off. I wonder why George thinks we didn't buy off the judge in Tony's or Eugene's little
Yeah, I'm
case.
surprised. I for sure thought that conspiracy theory was going to come out, but
I'm sure he does. I just don't think he wanted to announce it. I'm sure that's the first thing he said once he, stumbled out of courtroom that day. Eugene says he's just well. First of all, Eugene says there's no way he's 6'2", 6'1". He's pushing closer like 5'11", which isn't short. I'm 5'10". I'm nothing special, but he's always overcompensating. He says the smell was atrocious. That's a common thing with George. He always smells, and Eugene said no, it's not a joke. He was maybe 5 feet away from him and said that the stench was just unbearable. I mean, from him, from Watt.
I can't even imagine the two of those together, how bad they smell.
Imagine what Watt's apartment smells like. Ugh.
Oh my god.
His sofa
Those two
cushion.
fat fucks get together. Oh, it probably smells like. Oh, I can't even describe what it probably smells like.
Wild Irish rose and spoiled cum.
Oh my god.
Shaking my head, man. All right, guys. Well, I think we're getting close to the how much time we've got allotted. So, before we sign out, is there anything you guys want to say? Any final words? Any pumping up the show for the last time? It's going to be on this upcoming Friday at 8:30, and you guys have two special guests that have not been announced that are going to be surprises. Correct?
That's
correct.
right. That's
okay, I'm
correct.
looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing who they are.
Yeah, working hard behind the scenes. I'm excited to have these two on. Very excited. It's a coup for us, to be honest. George, you're not gonna want to DoorDash on Friday night. You're gonna want to back into a parking lot and just get ready to rage. 100%. If he doesn't release one, at least I know I'm gonna send him to a fit. But yeah, 8:30 Eastern on the Gorgeous George show channel. We'll link it.
Yeah, I'll put a link to the channel in the description of this video.
Awesome. But no, we're excited, and fuck you, George.
Yeah, George, get your Huggies and your shit cleanup rags ready, because after that night, you're gonna need them. You are gonna be blowing rage shit all over the back of your van. So get ready for cleanup detail.
Now, I don't want to be too nitpicky. You said his van. I think you mean his home. His home.
His mobile home.
His mobile home, yeah. George, you were driving away as fast as your mobile home could go.
I love that line.
That was fed to him by Billy Baxter, I'm pretty sure, too.
I think so. All the best lines are fed to him.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying he wasn't funny and didn't have his moments, but you could definitely tell when he was being fed some material and when he wasn't.
Yeah, the Saved by the Bell call is a good example of him being fed stuff. So yeah, Billy's handiwork on display in that call. But all right, so I think we're gonna call it there. Boston, Meth, thank you again for coming. Everybody else, thank you for listening. We're gonna be back next week on Tuesday with the Dank Net documentary review. I'll put that up, and then after that, I'm gotta try and hunt down the Saunders calls where he talks about the Chris Hansen video. So we'll take it from there. Yep, I'm excited about it. So, all right, guys, have a good one. Take care. Have a good week. Signing off.
Thanks for having us.
Bye.